The city looked beautiful from a distance. Tall buildings sparkled under the evening lights. Luxury cars filled the streets. People hurried home after another busy day. But hidden behind those shining buildings was a forgotten corner of the city, a place most people avoided. Broken walls, abandoned houses, dark alleys where hope seemed to disappear. This was where 13-year-old Emma lived. She didn't have a real home. No warm bedroom, no soft bed, only an old abandoned warehouse with a leaking roof. Every rainy night, water dripped through the broken ceiling. Every winter, the cold wind entered through the cracked windows. Yet Emma never complained, because she wasn't alone. She lived there with the only family she had left, her grandmother, Martha. Years ago, Emma's parents had died in a terrible car accident. Since then, never dreamed of expensive things. Her only dream was simple. I just want Grandma to smile again. Despite their hardships, Martha always reminded Emma of one lesson. Never let poverty steal your kindness. Emma remembered those words every single day. One afternoon, after working for hours under the hot sun, Emma finally counted the coins inside her small pocket. 1, 2, 3. Just enough. She smiled. For tonight's dinner. She walked into a tiny neighborhood bakery. The smell of fresh bread filled the room. Emma carefully placed every coin on the counter. I'd like 1 loaf of bread, please. The baker looked at the small pile of coins, then silently handed her the freshest loaf. Emma thanked him with a bright smile. Holding the warm bread close to her chest, she hurried toward the warehouse. For the first time in Emma smiled softly. You need it more than I do. The man's eyes filled with tears. But what about you? Emma looked toward the fading sunset. I'll be okay. The old man held the bread tightly. His voice trembled. Child, people with full pockets rarely stop for me. You have nothing, and yet you've given me everything. Emma simply smiled. My grandmother says that kindness is the only thing that grows when you give it away. The old man couldn't speak. He watched as Emma slowly walked away with empty hands. She never looked back. She didn't see the tears rolling down his face. She didn't notice the black luxury car parked far across the street. Inside the car, a man in a suit quietly lowered his camera. He had witnessed everything. He immediately picked up his phone. Sir? I thought you'd be angry. Martha softly wiped the tears from Emma's face. No, my child. I'm proud of you. Food fills the stomach for one night, but kindness can change a life forever. Those words stayed in Emma's heart. That one woman carried a folder. Another man looked around carefully. Emma's heart began to race. Grandma, I think they're looking for someone. A gentle knock echoed through the warehouse. Knock, knock, knock. Emma slowly opened the door. A woman smiled kindly. Are you Emma? Emma nodded nervously. Yes. We've been searching for you. Emma looked confused. Searching for me? Before the woman could answer, a familiar voice came from behind the cars. I told you she would still be here. Emma froze. It was the old man from the park. But today, he looked completely different. Instead of old, torn clothes, he wore an elegant, dark suit. His hair was neatly combed. His posture was confident. The weak old man from yesterday was gone. Emma could hardly believe her eyes. "You..." The old man smiled warmly. "Yes, Emma. My name is William Carter. I owe you an explanation." Emma stood speechless. William slowly walked toward her. "Yesterday wasn't an accident. I often travel through the city dressed as an ordinary homeless man. I don't do it for attention. I do it to discover people whose kindness is real." Emma looked at him in disbelief. "You mean you were testing people?" William nodded sadly. "Dozens of people passed me. Some laughed. Some ignored me. Some pretended I didn't exist. But one little girl gave me everything she had." Emma looked down quietly. "I only did what my grandmother taught me." William smiled. "And that's exactly why I came back." He turned toward Martha. "I've spent years donating money. But yesterday, I found something far more valuable than wealth. A truly kind heart." William opened the folder the woman had been carrying. Inside were several documents. He placed them gently into Emma's hands. "I've arranged for your grandmother to receive the best medical treatment." Emma looked up in shock. William continued. "You'll both move into a safe apartment. And starting next week, you'll attend one of the best schools in the city." Emma couldn't speak. Her hands trembled. Tears rolled down her cheeks. She looked at her grandmother. Emma could hardly believe how quickly her life had changed. Within a few weeks, her grandmother received the medical treatment she had needed for years. Slowly, her strength returned. The painful coughing became less frequent. For the first time in a long while, Martha could walk without help. Seeing her grandmother smile again was the greatest gift Emma had ever received. Soon after, Emma moved into a small but comfortable apartment. It wasn't a mansion. It wasn't luxurious. But to Emma, it felt like a palace. There was a real bed, a warm kitchen, a desk where she could study. Every night before going to sleep, Emma thanked God for giving her another chance. The following Monday, Emma walked through the gates of her new school. She wore a clean school uniform. She carried brand new books. But she never forgot where she had come from. Some students whispered when they learned she had once been homeless. Others stared at her with curiosity. Emma didn't respond. She simply smiled and focused on her studies. Months passed. Emma became one of the brightest students in her class. Her teachers admired her hard work. Her classmates slowly became her friends. Whenever someone needed help with homework, Emma was the first to volunteer. Whenever a student felt lonely, Emma sat beside them. She remembered exactly what it felt like to be ignored. Years went by. Emma graduated from university with top honors. At the graduation ceremony, William Carter and Martha sat proudly in the front row. As Emma walked across the stage to receive her degree, the audience rose to their feet in applause. William smiled with tears in his eyes. The little girl who once gave away her only loaf of bread had become a woman who inspired everyone around her. But Emma wasn't finished. She remembered the cold nights, the empty stomach, the lonely streets. She knew thousands of children were still living the life she once had. so she made a decision. With William's support, Emma founded a charity called the Bread of Hope Foundation. The organization provided food, shelter, education, and medical care for homeless children and struggling families. Every weekend, Emma personally visited the streets. She handed out meals. She listened to people's stories. She reminded them that someone still cared. One rainy evening, while serving food, Emma noticed a frightened little boy sitting alone under a bus stop. His clothes were wet. His face was tired. He hadn't eaten all day. Without hesitation, Emma handed him a warm loaf of bread. The little boy looked up with tears in his eyes. "Why are you helping me?" Emma smiled gently. "Because once, someone gave me a chance to change my life." William, standing nearby, watched the moment quietly. He realized something beautiful. Years earlier, Emma had fed one hungry stranger. Now she was feeding thousands. One act of kindness had become a lifetime of compassion. At the opening ceremony of the foundation's newest shelter, reporters asked Emma one question. "What inspired you to dedicate your life to helping others?" Emma looked at the crowd, smiled, and replied, "I was once a little girl with nothing but a single loaf of bread. I learned that kindness isn't measured by how much you have. It's measured by what you're willing to give." The audience stood in silence. Then, one by one, they began to clap. Some wiped away tears. Others smiled with hope. Emma looked toward the sky. She knew her parents would have been proud. She looked at her grandmother and William. Their smiles said everything. The little girl who once thought she had nothing had become someone who gave hope to an entire city. True kindness is not about giving from your abundance. It is about sharing even when you have very little. A single selfless act can change one life, and that one life can go on to change thousands. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another inspiring story.